Come on.
Watching Channel 7 Eyewitness News with Phil Ritter and Liz Cho. Scott Clark has sports. Lee Goldberg with weather. And the Eyewitness News team. Now, Eyewitness News.
I just thought we'd throw that in there for a little levity.
Is that Bill Butel?
You guys both know this is a big weekend here at Eyewitness News as we celebrate.
They don't want to. That's the problem. You let them stop talking. They don't want to shut up. No. That was a later version of Eyewitness News. I believe that Butel had already gone back over to CBS when this was done.
Roger Grimsby came from KGO.
Was dead by the time this was done, but yes, he was great. I'm sorry I'm eating my soup, my oatmeal this morning, but I'm in terrible
conditions.
Yeah.
You need a little power. A little something. What kind of oatmeal are you enjoying?
Whatever Starbucks sends over for $4.35.
Thank you, Starbucks.
With brown sugar.
Oh yeah.
And blueberries.
The world is a wonderful and bountiful place.
Oh wait, here's a good one.
Still playing hide and seek with the stuff in your kangaroo?
Short and sweet, whatever it was.
You know, these news clips are from the days where it wasn't Oprah before the news or Dr. Phil. It was the 4:30 movie.
Wow. Every day?
Every day.
You must have had access to the TCM library. They should do a week like crap movies from the 90s that you never saw in the theaters.
Yeah.
Big crap week.
And now that I do, I am so excited to share the incredible story of the 1970s with you.
Oh, you are excited that you're going to show me. Well, then why don't you roll them? Well, I don't know where the button. I'm just...
This is...
is it a lever, or is it a button, or is it a signal I give?
It's I think it's command. This is Eyewitness News from 1970 in San Francisco. And it's Van Amberg.
And Jerry Jensen.
Jerry Jensen, yeah.
Jerry Jensen, years ago, back in the day when KRON was an NBC station, came over from 4 and went to 7. They teamed him up with Van Amberg. And they were the kings of the market for a long time. By those standards.
Yeah, they have one of the shots has two guys kissing right up in front of the news set. So the whole thing. So you got to think that it's quite an avant-garde newscast.
It was personality news, but they stuck to the news, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, they had one guy that didn't do purely news stories. He would go out and do the guy in the street for 30 years, or
Man Bites Dog,
the human interest story. Go to the zoo. Don Sanchez.
Yeah. Sports.
Yeah, they did a little thing
Pete
on that.
Giddings' weather.
Yep. And
And,
Storm Field on the weekend.
Now, nothing touched that in San Francisco until Dave McElhatton came along on Channel 5.
With his wife, right?
She was there for a while. But
then
it was Trisha Toyota.
She went over to
2, I think.
Coit. Bonnie Chastain.
She went to Court TV.
No, Coit Radio.
Oh, Coit. I thought you said Court. I got you. Yes. Coit Radio has been a survivor.
Oh, I feel so much better. Anyway,
Vinnie had a rough weekend. He hasn't been well for the past couple of days. So because he's a trooper, the show must go on. And so we don't have to do a full hour, Ben, but we can start with something like the Secret Service firing at a attempted carjacking in Georgetown.
It's always a good place to start, Michael.
How's your night going, Secret Service man? He said, well, shots fired. Oh, it's like that.
Well, let me ask you a question. Why not?
Oh, I think any off-duty cop that was armed, or maybe even not armed, would have tried to intervene in the carjacking.
Yeah, I mean, we're the Secret Service. We're protecting the president's neighborhood.
We're armed and trained.
And plus, we usually shoot him in the knees.
You'd be surprised how little fight is left in somebody who's been shot in the knee. It's not like on the movies.
It will always stop you in your tracks, stop you from thinking about anything else. Just shoot somebody in the knees. Hell, you don't even have to shoot him in the knees. You can probably get away with just hitting him hard in the knees, and you're going to stop and think.
Aluminum bat in the knees? Yeah, that's been tried before.
It always makes you stop and think.
The person involved probably thought, what incredible luck. I do a carjacking next to an armed Secret Service agent. I won't do that again. Or I'll check the neighborhood for more, for obvious federal agents.
Well, you know, I never really get the idea of somebody trying a crime in like Georgetown. I mean,
it's tiny. You can't get anywhere.
You can't get in, you can't get out. It probably has the best per block police ratio of any place in the country, because you got all sorts of senators and congressmen and aides and all that stuff living there.
And their families.
Anyway, the story goes that three people were seen breaking into an unoccupied government vehicle in Washington late Sunday, but the protective detail for Mr. Biden's granddaughter was who the car belonged to. They smashed the window around 11:30 to get into the upscale Georgetown section of the city. To get into the car, Secret Service encountered possibly 3 individuals breaking a window on a parking unoccupied government vehicle. During this encounter, a federal agent discharged a service weapon, and it is believed no one was struck. There was no threat to the protectees. A senior law enforcement official later confirmed the protectee was Mrs. Biden, or Miss Biden.
The granddaughter thereof. So the bad luck for the car thieves was even worse than I imagined. Multiplied by 100, they break in to the Secret Service's vehicle. That's the one they chose. Here's a nice unidentified government vehicle. I wonder who. It couldn't belong to anybody important. Let's take this one. There's 3 of us. What can they do?
Yeah. I mean, nobody's going to bother us around here. So, well, I'm glad they caught them without
And make them pay for the broken window.
without incident.
Safe Life installs, Safe Life protects.
You ever see poor people going to Safe Light? You always see people with new cars.
Happy people.
You see anybody poor going to Safe Light? No. Maybe they sketch it around with a single mom every once in a while, but
Are they one of those outfits that takes your keys and won't give them back until you up by to a full windshield polish?
I don't think so. I think they're actually a pretty straightforward company. I know a lot of people that use them. We used to use them when we had the body shop. They had a thing in. They had a shop in New York, and we used to call them to bring us glass because they got it in right all the time. They had a system of getting it in, getting the old one out, getting all crap out, and they did the best job. So when we had to do a windshield or a glass replacement, we call them.
Yesterday, I thought of you because it looked like Dino Smith and the Seahawks were going to be in trouble, and you were going to have to pull your support for the current offensive schemes. But lo and behold,
it took them certainly a while to get going. I'll give you that. But they finally did get going. And
the Commanders are no joke.
No, they're a legit team. They are a legit team. They're 4-6 now, but they could have very easily been 5-5.
Yeah.
And the Seahawks very easily could have been 5-4. I think we saw yesterday out of Gino what we have been looking for all year. Is for him to lead his team down the field and put the ball where it's supposed to go and use your brains to get guys out of bounds and strike with just a little bit of time left on the clock with the winning score and field goal and kick. And I think that's what, no matter what you want to say about Gino, and I at times think I'm his worst enemy, he seemed to have it together yesterday, whether that was luck, whether that was skill, whatever that was. He looked like the Geno Smith we traded for, not the Geno Smith that we have gotten so far.
And he won it with a touchdown pass, not a 2-yard run. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's more dynamic to have a 10-yard TD pass when the Commanders are doing everything to stop you. I don't
care if he gets it by flipping it in with a tiddlywink.
You can do that, but it's not done often. By the way, that's a 2-point play.
Is it?
The tiddlywink, yep.
If he can get it in like that, I just don't care. I just think that everything worked for him yesterday, which they needed to have happen. I think it would have been a horrible situation where they go and they wind up losing that game. Then they got the Rams coming in, right?
You got the 49ers 2 more times. Well,
the 49ers
twice, I should say.
The Rams and the Seahawks with the Rams and the 49ers within 3 days.
I'm expecting the Rams and possibly the Chargers too to go through some big off-season changes because it's been such a hard and unproductive season for them. So look out for revenge. They're gonna be playing together for the last time in some cases.
Well, you got to think that certainly it's going to be one of those games where everybody gives their all. But I saw a maturity in the Seahawks yesterday. I don't know how it's going to shake out. I don't know how, what's going to happen. But if the Seahawks can get that, can keep that momentum going, it would be really nice. Geno, I keep going back to Geno Smith because he's such a maligned guy, and by yours truly. But you go down the list of people who are doing their good, and the Hogs, man. Everybody comes to holler and scream about the Hogs and everything, but they're not afraid of that stuff. That doesn't help out what they were trying to do. And what they were trying to do is move the ball up the field. Don't try to make any big plays. Just make decent plays.
Make first downs.
Make first downs. That's all you got to do to beat these guys. Make first downs. I mean,
and you've got to score in the red zone. Last night, the Jets made that abundantly clear when they were on the 2-yard line and went 15 yards in the wrong direction in 3 plays. When a field goal wasn't going to win it for them, they had to score a touchdown. All they had to do was run it in, and they
couldn't do it.
They paid off with an interception. Now the 49ers, on the other hand, got their mojo back totally and completely. It was like a ballet. They weren't playing with equals in the NFL. Everything was working. Everybody scored a touchdown except, of course, Christian McCaffrey, who said, "I suck. Everybody scored but me." He would have broken Lenny Moore's 17-game record for scoring a touchdown in 17 consecutive games. He would have been the guy who got 18, but it wasn't to be. And they tried. They tried from the 2-yard line like the Jets did and failed to get him in.
The Jets never cease to amaze you.
Actually, it's great to see Aaron Rodgers on the sideline with headphones talking to the quarterback. And the kid had a really good drive, but when they got to the 2-yard line, the dangerous 2-yard line where everybody knows it's now or never, it was never.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think that what is I think that what's going on now is we saw yesterday what Geno could be. We saw yesterday what Geno could be. We also saw another 2 key components of that team do a nice job. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, both coming through, and I think the quarterback for Washington has seen enough of Boye Mafe that he doesn't want to see him anymore.
You do get to know
face all day, and you got to be able to do that with these guys. This team coming back from that loss in Baltimore could have folded their tails between their legs and going, we're not just good enough.
We're just not good enough.
Yeah,
We're just
that's-
not a winning team.
We don't have the right guy. And I'll tell you, it looked like in the first, I don't know, quarter of the game, it looked like Geno Smith was the Geno Smith of last week. But something clicked for him. He threw for 369 yards, a couple of touchdowns, and didn't lose a turnover. He screwed up on a penalty. I don't know. Sometimes I think he doesn't think as well as he thinks. But that's where his coordinators got to come in and help him, right? They got to come in and say to him in that little Tootsie toy that's in his helmet, spike the ball, do this, do that. Watch for the extra player. I mean,
Right.
But the last two drives were was the absolute Geno that we wanted to see. That we want to see. 9 for 11, 100 yards on both of those drives combined. They circulated the running backs into the game. I love Charbonnet, man. He's just a big old box of wine. They leaned on the running backs.
We never see the Seahawks down here, so I don't know the team very well, but we're going to get to know one another quickly because the 49ers and the Seahawks play 2 times in 3 weeks.
Yeah, everybody will know everybody. And what else do we see? Offensive line had some good moments, but overall weren't great. But even the not so great parts of what the Seahawks were doing yesterday, Mikey, came alive in the last 2 drives of the game. They might not have been good all game, but in the last 2 drives of the game, when they needed to come back and score,
right?
And
Absolutely.
they needed to hold them once they scored. The defensive line came up big. Leonard Williams got his first sack. Dre'Mont Jones had half a sack and 2 quarterback hits.
And they kept the Commanders busy in the backfield all game.
Yeah, there was. And listen, again, you got to give. I think you got to give a lot of kudos to one of the old men on the team. A guy who has been, I don't know. He's old, but don't mess with him. Bobby Wagner.
Yeah.
Bobby Wagner, 10 tackles, a half a sack, and 2 pass defenses. And Fay got a sack on 3rd down. They could have used a little more, but they got what they got. And, and then it's
they got a W, and it was a weekend where so many games were decided by 1 kick.
Well, a lot of teams don't realize that this is these people. Now is when you start to see them slow down a little bit, especially on the young teams. Next week will be what would be equivalent to their last game. And now these guys got to stick it out another 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games, depending. So this is the big leagues. The first 8 weeks, everything's the same.
And everybody's increasingly banged up.
But now you got to watch. Now you got to keep your eyes open. So, congratulations. I thought it was a good win yesterday. What about the Huskies?
Undefeated, thank you.
Yeah.
It's hard.
There's already-
It's hard to get by the other teams ahead of them, but they're undefeated.
There's a lot of talk about giving the coach, Kalen DeBoer, ripping up his old contract and giving him a long new contract.
How long is the contract that he's working under?
I think it was 3 years or 4 years.
Who's going to be his quarterback after Penix?
Beats me. He's got a couple of. I forget who the guy is that. I'm just looking to see if I see a depth chart. I can't remember his name. Although, if you have a good team, would you say that your next quarterback is in the portal?
Wouldn't surprise me. It's a wise way to go. Take an experienced quarterback from some other school.
Yeah. You think you see somebody out there?
One of the two teams left in the Pac-12, Washington State, has got a Friday night television date. Colorado Buffaloes are coming to play them in Pullman. That should be a wicked game.
Yes, I'm excited to see that game.
You wouldn't want to be sleeping above the Coug on a night like that.
Why?
They have a jukebox or a sound system that's beer resistant.
I'm ready to go. Dylan Morris is listed as their second quarterback.
What's the name again?
Dylan Morris. Right-hander out of where else?
Puyallup.
So you know how they love those. You know how they love them kids out of Puyallup. So
I remember the Fabulous Sports Babe called it "Pull you all up."
Pull you all up.
Or someone called it Pig Wallop. I don't know. It wasn't me.
I think the babe used to call it Pig Wallop. I think I called it to Pull you all up.
I stand corrected.
He's the guy. Well, not completely, because I don't know for sure. I don't remember 100%, but it's kind of the way I remember it. Yeah, I mean, they got, again, they have a lot of players that are going to go, yes, but they also have a lot of players that that if you're Kalen DeBoer, you are looking at that portal. You're trying to find somebody who's going to keep you, in the top 25.
And it's a good move for players, but also coaches can say, look, I need a left tackle. This is a team that's ready to go to the bowl games. We're going to be a contender in whatever conference we play in, but I need a left tackle. So if you're 6'7" and 340 pounds, by all means, get in the portal and let's see you here in Seattle tomorrow.
Boy, it is. You want to feel old?
Not particularly, but go ahead.
Oh, come on. Let me just make sure before I really make you feel. They have a linebacker on the Washington Huskies whose name is Carson Bruner.
Ah.
From Woodinville, New York.
Well, Mark Brunner's still coaching. Mark Brunell, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So could be. I don't know. I'm not sure these are relation, but
it's funny. Mark Brunell had to share quarterback duties with Billy Joe Hobart, but when he got to the NFL, he had a career that is still going.
he is amazing, isn't he?
Really fascinating.
Oh, man. And so we covered it. The Giants got whacked out by the Cowboys. And who else does anybody else we really care about? I think the Dolphins won. So that's as Robert De Niro said, that's that.
Mark Brunell is the quarterback's coach at the resurgent winning Detroit Lions. He's working with Jared Goff, who won yesterday.
I'll tell you as far as quarterbacks, I'll tell you who I am impressed with.
Mark Brunell was in the NFL as a player for 19 years. Incredible.
I'll tell you who. Well, I just totally forgot what I wanted to say. Oh, who I was impressed with, and now it just kind of came out of my mind.
Quarterback for the Texans.
No, the quarterback for the Jets. I mean, he's been put in a pretty crappy situation, and he still had him in a position to win that game last night.
Yep.
And I know it's not easy to say that, that you should, he's got to win. He's next man up and everything like that. But I think
he looked great until the last pass.
Yeah. Well, that's the learning curve, isn't it?
Yep. Plus, you have to accept that these teams go through personality changes. 49ers could not be found the previous two games, and then yesterday they could not be touched. They were so exquisite.
Well, I was just nice. It was good to see him.
You'll notice as you view YouTube that the writers and the actor strikes are now over.
Yeah.
Cost the industry as much as $15 billion between the two, if not more. You have to wonder what the studios were thinking when they were willing to take that kind of a hit that's going to be difficult to recover from. And even if they started work yesterday, which they didn't. So the writers have been writing, the actors are not ready to act. We'll see what this industry looks like when it gets back on its feet, but it wouldn't be too surprising to see some false starts and some difficulty in getting back going.
Yeah, it would. It'd be nice to. It'd be nice to see everybody work. Work at coming back. Here's an interesting thing, Rex Ryan, you remember him?
Yeah.
The man with the foot fetish. He says that people ought to stay off of Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson is not the problem with this team.
What's the problem, Rex?
He says there's guys out of position all over the place. They're trying to see what else he's saying.
I assume he said this because he has to say something on ESPN every time they tell him the mic's on.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, and yeah. He never gives a reason why he thinks that they should lay off him, but he says lay the hell off him.
That'll do for television commentary. Thank you.
He brought my wife a nice pair of shoes one Christmas, and I'll never forget him for it.
Vinnie, why don't we shut it down for today and get you back into bed?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, Mikey. I'm struggling. I had all stuff written out, and I don't even know what the heck I did with it.
Just take care of yourself and be good to yourself for a couple of days.
I would love to encourage everybody to come down to the Seattle Auto Show next Saturday morning. I will be there either standing up or in a box.
A nice box, like a refrigerator box. Those are the best kind. You can slide down the hill on those all day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and they were good in the snow and outside of the snow. They were all just good.
They're not going to hold up, but there's a couple good hours in them anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, let's do that. Let's cut it short today. I don't feel good. And we will we'll get this thing going up to Wednesday morning.
Take your vitamins.
Taking my vitamins. I'm taking my these other pills. I'm taking more pills, Michael. I feel like if I got arrested, it'd take them hours to figure out what I was legal and wasn't legal. Just go.
They've got nothing left else to do, so that's fine.
Just go.
You haven't lived till you've spent some time with the police chemist.
All right. I'll talk to you later, man.
See you, Ben.
All right. Bye.